Welcome to Stova.
Now we're going to take a look at our virtual and hybrid options here. This is a great feature that is built into the platform, meaning every event that you create can have a virtual or hybrid component to it with a few clicks to turn that option on and set up your different sessions. We do offer a number of different experiences, so depending on what level of virtual or hybrid event you're looking for, we do have different scaling options there. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of our virtual options, and this is going to be the one that's part of our core product. This allows you to have a customized portal that people will log into post-registration to be able to interact with your event in that virtual sense. We also do have this tied directly to our mobile app, so if you're running a hybrid experience, I will have this same available functionality within the mobile app, being able to interact with that virtual audience as far as polling, Q&As, chats, meetups, things like that will all be part of both the virtual and mobile experience. As you can see on the screen here, you will land in a lobby and there will be kind of three main components. In the top right-hand corner is our main menu bar. This is where you can get help if you're having any issues with the system, as it is all web-based, meaning there's no downloads necessary to interact with any of the players or virtual experiences. This is also where you can check your system to make sure that your mic, phone, or mic, camera, and everything is working properly so that you don't have any issues when the sessions start, giving you the ability to test them ahead of time before actually entering those different sessions. In that menu bar, you will also be able to see any notifications or push notifications that are sent out by the admin, and that does allow them to schedule those ahead of time to let you know that certain sessions are starting or event activities are taking place, as well as on the fly. That can be to the entire audience, a subset of the audience, or specific people, just depending on how you want those push notifications to work. And then you'll also be able to access your profile, log out, change different settings within your profile on that little person icon on the far right there. One of the other main areas that we're going to highlight is going to be on the left-hand side, and that is our kind of navigation bar or menu options, if you will. These are going to be all of the different interaction points that you have as part of your virtual event and see the different modules that are turned on. You'll be able to interact with these depending on what you want to turn on or off for the event here. And there's a number of different features just depending on the experience that you're looking to foster as part of this virtual event itself. So as you can see here, we've got quite a few different options. We'll go through a few of them here, but the event feed is a great place to have different chat channels or conversations that are happening that are more open to everyone that's participating in the event. You can have announcements or different channels at the top where people can opt in and then be able to post and see what others are talking about as a part of that specific topic. You can add images, as you can see here. You can like other people's as well as comment back on these. So it's like a mini social media for your event where you can control those different experiences. We also do have things like built-in Q&A. This allows for questions to be asked to those speakers as a part of the session, whether that be pre-session or post-session, or actually in the session experience. And that gives you the ability to extend the length of that content and allow those speakers to build engagement and interaction with your audience members while the sessions are not taking place. Very similarly, we also have polls. Those can take place within a session if you want to, or just be general event polls. Have information about, the start of the event, or how did you like this, or whatever you may want to capture feedback on. These can be turned on or off as you see fit, as well as scheduled. They can be single question or multi-question polls, and as people actually fill the poll out, they will then be able to see the results if you would like. You can also display these results via a URL as part of presentations if you would like to. We also have a number of different directory listings for people to be able to find other participants as a part of the event. They're categorized by typically things like speaker, attendee, exhibitor, and I can click into those lists, search for individuals, click into their profiles, and actually see those individuals and see what sessions they're speaking at, or see the attendees and some information about those attendees. I can click into that attendee profile, and then I can also interact with that profile by being able to send a message or have a one-on-one meeting if I want to. Another directory listing that we have is going to be the exhibitor directory, and this is where you can highlight those different exhibitors and give them a quick listing associated with the event. Similar to that, we can also do sponsor listings if you want to have a directory of sponsors and the different sponsoring companies. That will give them the ability to highlight some information and publicize their company details. We also do have a conference bag, as you're seeing on my screen right now, and this is where my saved and favorited content can go, whether that be agendas or agenda items that I favorited, or maybe speakers or sponsors or exhibitors. All of that information can be saved and then sent to me after the event in an email where I can access those details if I need to. And that does include documents that are associated with sessions, so if there's handouts there, that would be included in that export as well. Now we'll take a look at kind of that third main area, which is going to be this center part of the page. This is where you can provide different welcome messages and branding associated with your event. You can even do a welcome video there if you wanted to. But then we get down to the actual sessions as a part of the event. So what is taking place and what things can I participate in? You can certainly see this in multiple different days, depending on whether it's a single webinar event or whether it's multiple different days. You can highlight those session descriptions as well as the different speakers that are going to be participating in this session. Now, we have a number of different kind of session styles, if you will, depending on how you want to foster that kind of engagement during the session. We have what we call collaboration sessions, which is designed more for interactive sessions, smaller groups where you want everyone to be able to kind of unmute, join into the conversation. You want multiple people to be able to share their camera at will if you want, where it's going to be more of a interactive or engaged session compared to just information being presented out to you. We do also have a presentation session, which we'll show you in just a second here, but first let's take a look at the collaboration session. This is going to be an example of what that player looks like. As I mentioned, it is embedded in the tool, so you don't have to use external technologies or link out to Zoom or Teams. It's all in the player itself and keeps them within the browser and experience. You can customize the messages associated with this, but as that speaker or the host of this, I have full control over the session. You can do things like have backstage chat if you want, see the people list, interact with chats or polls, Q&A, as well as share my screen, share my webcam, share my microphone, all of the kind of standard things that you're used to, as well as engagement and interaction like raising hands and emoji reactions are available within some of our players. We can also do closed captioning depending on the need of the session itself. So there are lots of different options just depending on what type of engagement and interaction and the different functionality that you need as part of that player itself here. In just a moment, you will see my colleague Luke here bring his camera on screen just so you can get an idea of what that looks like. But as I mentioned, these collaborative sessions are designed for smaller groups. So 250 people or less, and you can have 16 people on camera at any given time. No more than 16 at one time, but you can rotate people in and out if you're trying to have kind of group discussions and bring people on camera as they are supposed to be talking. You do also have the ability to not only play part of your screen or your whole screen, you can take external videos, things like YouTube videos, and play them as part of the player experience here as well. And that's what we're showing on the screen right here is one of those kind of embedded YouTube options where I can simply play that video, and now it is part of the screen share and taking that video and playing it externally to everybody. You do also have control over this as the host, so if I want to have everybody muted but then unmute them or not have everyone have the ability to share their camera and then grant them that ability, those are all options that can be set up as a part of this experience. So the hosts have more permissions to be able to do those things not only ahead of time but on the fly, and then your participants will only be able to engage with the experience based on those settings. So in some situations, I may only be able to engage via Q&A or polling or chats and not be able to unmute or turn on my camera. And that kind of leads us to the next type of session that we're going to be talking about, which is going to be our presentation style session. And that's exactly what this is for, is showing a presentation style session. Oh, I apologize. There's also the recording option. So after I've done either of these type of sessions, presentation or collaboration, I can have those sessions recorded and available for playback as a part of this portal. So you can keep content in here and make it available on demand once those sessions have taken place. And that is available for either session type, whether that be collaborative or presentation style there. You will also have access to those downloads outside of the platform. If you want to put them on an external page, that would also be available. Sorry for the slight detour there, but I want to get back to that presentation session here. And this is going to be one where you have a more polished experience is what I like to say. So that's why we call it presentation, because it's for those large presentations where it's mainly going to be your speakers, hosts, different presenters that are predefined that are going to be sharing their camera and screens and things like that. This does have a built-in production tool as part of it, and one of those options as a part of that production tool is different layouts. So as you can see on the screen there, it's showing some different examples. I can add different layouts and change that on the fly depending on how I want that screen to look, whether I need 2 different interactions or 3 or 5 or a panel type of scenario. All of those can easily be changed on the fly using that bottom menu bar there. I also can, just like before, share my screen, share my camera. The nice thing about this is you can also pre-upload content as a part of this player because it is a production tool. So I can import my different session videos if I need to, my different video clips. I can have PowerPoint presentations uploaded, PDFs. All of those different documents can be imported to this platform and be ready as part of the player. So that way you don't have to play it in an external fashion or anything like that. And this is an example of how I can upload additional content like logos and have that have watermarks or different branding options as a part of that player experience. So now that I've got that uploaded, I can simply select it, and then you'll notice it appear in that top right-hand corner. And now that's a part of all of the broadcast that's going on. Everything that you're seeing right now is pre-broadcast. You'll notice the Go Live button in the top right. So this is like a green room right now where I can get everything set up, get all my speakers in here, have our conversation, even do a countdown timer if I want to and things like that. But until I hit that Go Live button, nothing is being broadcast out. So it gives me the ability to set up and make sure I have everything that I need in the event before I actually start that Go Live screen. I can even do things like live captioning if I need to. So I can come in here and I can do things like a lower third or a ticker bar, just depending on what I would like. I can set these up ahead of time, so that way I just simply click on them for them to show as part of the screen or at a certain point in the presentation, or I could set them up on the fly if something changed and I need to make a quick announcement. You can see that I can just simply type in here and say, yep, what is the text that I want to type out? And that's what's going to be able to be seen on screen, as you can kind of see some examples below. So with this production tool, it allows you a lot of flexibility to not only set up the look and feel of this presentation, but pre-set up any of the different messages and little nuances that you want as part of this. And you'll be able to do those as you see fit on the fly or kind of pre-set them up as part of the presentation. So not only does it allow for additional design elements, preloading that content, but also different communication methods just to help make sure that this presentation is as polished as possible here. I can invite speakers directly to this as well. If I want the speakers to all be into this engagement and interaction, I can queue up their different cameras and turn them on or off at different times. I can have all of that pre-set up. We can even share PowerPoints where they can click through the deck themselves, or I can click through it for them. But as I mentioned, until I click that Go Live, these sessions are kind of in a pre-green room state, if you will. Once you hit Go Live, then it will broadcast out to the audience where they'll be able to see whatever you've put together as part of this production tool, whether it be pre-uploaded videos, syncing in an external stream like an RTMP feed, or any of the other pre-branded items. So it really just allows for that more polished experience as part of that virtual event. Hopefully you saw that we have a lot of flexibility as part of our virtual and hybrid events here, depending on whether you're running a simple webinar or a full-on virtual event, or in most situations, doing some type of a hybrid where you have an in-person experience, but you want to make a lot of that content available after the event or during the event for your hybrid members. We have all of those things as a part of the platform that you can easily turn on or off and configure to make that process even easier.